So today I want to talk more about the feeling of being stuck. Now, this is something my clients that I'm currently coaching and also strategizing with are feeling, as well as some of the resounding thoughts and feelings that are coming across on social media today. So I wanted to take the time to talk more about why you may be experiencing this feeling and some of the ways that you could get yourself out of the feeling of being stuck. So if you are also feeling this way, this video is for you, so stick around. So habit number one is that you're constantly seeking for validation of your work or your service. And this is extremely hard to not do, right? Because everybody wants to know that they're on the right path of getting things done, and they always seek for validation or the opinions of others to ensure that they're on the right path. But to be very honest, opinions should not matter in terms of how you run your business, your art, your creativity, the ideas that are birthed in your mind. Opinions of others should not matter. You're only dimming your own light. Other people's opinions may come from a bad place. It may come from a place where they are just not wanting to see you succeed. It may come from a place where they're just trying to keep tabs on you and not necessarily be happy and elated to see you grow within your industry. So the validation of others should be very minuscule, if at all none. So seeking validation may be the things that may be keeping you back. The friends that you feel that may resonate with you, the friends that you may feel that are supporting you 100% of the way may not always be that way. So validation should come from within yourself and nobody else. Habit number two, you are overanalyzing everything. So much so that you are researching over and over. You're reading all the books. You're going through all the YouTube channels. You are doing the work of researching, but not actually doing the work. It's also known as analysis paralysis. So you're analyzing everything, you're researching everything, you gathered all this information. You have so much knowledge in the thing that you're researching that you have yet to apply it. Now, this typically happens to a lot of creatives too, especially those in the early stage of entrepreneurship. So let's say, for example, as a photographer, when I first started, all I did was be on YouTube University, trying to figure out how to work the camera I had just bought and researching all of these photographers and all the clients that they're getting, finding ways how they've gotten their clients, finding ways to get my own clients, trying to find ways to really be proficient with off-camera lighting, all so much so that you do so much of that you don't actually apply. You don't actually find the ways to acknowledge that you know this, but then you don't find the ways to apply it. Obsessively seeking information and being constantly connected could be keeping you stuck and unable to progress towards your goals. So the compulsive need to research and to consume can reduce your need to apply. It could increase stress. It could reduce mental sharpness. It can reduce the focus that you have for your goals, and it keeps you stuck in the information that you're constantly striving to learn, even though you know it. So be sure to acknowledge the fact that you have done all this research and that you know your stuff, right? You need to get yourself unstuck by reducing the type of knowledge that you read on a day-to-day basis. So the next habit that you as a creative may be doing right now is the unintentional comparing yourself to others. Everybody does it. It doesn't matter what you are a part of, what industry you're in, everybody does it. And the fact that we have social media platforms to help kind of breed that sense of insecurity in us doesn't make it any better. So when you are comparing yourself to others, you are also slowing down your own growth because you're only studying what other people have instead of watering your own grass. Taking care of yourself, your business, your clients, and who you are serving within your industry would only allow you to grow substantially. So be sure to water your own grass. Don't look over the fence at your neighbors. Don't look at your competitors within your industry and seeing what they're doing. Always remember that Instagram is just a highlight reel of someone's real day-to-day life. They are not showing you the trenches that they're going through. They're not showing you the nitty-gritty of their business and the behind the scenes of what it took to get there. You have to just be confident in the gift that you have, whether it be a service-based business, a product-based business, whatever the case may be. You have to be confident in what you have and own it. So don't compare yourself to others, especially on social. Another habit that may be hindering you from reaching your goals is distractions. You may not know it, but distractions happen on a day-to-day basis. You have your phones next to you, you have a watch that pretty much tells you what's going on with your phone. You have all kind of devices that connects you to other people without them having to be in front of you. So when a phone goes off, your attention automatically goes off from what you are working on within your business to your phone to see who may be contacting you. You may get a ping off of a website that shows that you have a new notification. All of this is pulling you away from what you are working from. Especially now with social media, the biggest thing is doom scrolling. Doom scrolling is when you're constantly on your timeline, going to the next, to the next, to the next trend, to the next story, to the next post. I do it. I know you do it too. It's common. It's okay. But when it comes down to focusing within your business, this is an unhealthy habit that we all have to cut. So remove your distractions. Based off of research, they say remove your distractions in your phone away from you as you sleep, meaning you put it in a different room. Or you could go ahead and set it as do not disturb so your phone does not light up when you get those notifications. So acknowledge the fact that you may be staying a little too long on social, or you may be getting a lot of notifications and you just need to focus. You need to be able to implement habits that could eliminate your phone from going off, your watch from pinging you, from a website getting you those notifications on a day-to-day basis. We just have to acknowledge it so that you could correct it and then be able to move forward so that you could accomplish your goals. And the fifth habit that might be keeping you stuck is the lack of focus within your own tasks. I'm big on this. I absolutely love to write my to-do lists. Now, to-do lists are huge. I know everybody does it at one point in time, whether you write it down because you love write it on pen and paper, or if you're a digital girly, you have your digital planners. However you keep track of your to-dos, we tend to lose track on the task itself. You may see what needs to be done as you're writing down these tasks, right? But you're only really focusing on the bigger picture of completing the task. Like, I need to do this. But in order for you to get to that point, you have different micro steps that need to be done in order for that main task to be complete. So for me, for example, I had a hard time of completing tasks because I didn't adequately block time on actually completing the task, because I only looked at the task as itself, but I'm not seeing what it takes to get it done. So the micro steps to get things complete are something that most people tend to miss. And then they eventually feel like they're running out of time. And because of that, the task now seems a little bit more daunting than what it actually is, instead of acknowledging that there are micro steps that need to be accomplished in order for the entire task to be complete. And in turn, that slows down your progress of actually completing the goal. So if you are one that likes to write your task and to-do lists and honey-do lists, right? You want to be able to write the task, but then you also want to be able to do the micro task in between of getting it done. Another helpful tip is that you also want to write your top 3 things that you have to complete, right? So 3 things is better than none. 3 things is better than 10. You want to be able to prioritize your top 3 things that you have to do, get those done so you can move on and feel accomplished at the end of the day. So be able to acknowledge that there's tasks and then there's also micro tasks in order for you to complete your goal is something that we tend to overlook and create as a habit, and then eventually we just don't do it at the end of the day. So please, as you are creating your tasks and your goals, acknowledge the fact that you have other things that you need to do in order to complete that main task. So now you may be wondering, what are some of the ways that you could implement to get unstuck? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me go ahead and break it down for you. The first one is that you have to trust your gut. You know your brand, you know your business, you know the consumers that you help, you know your customers, you know how your audience is on social, you know what you have to do next. You have done the research, girl. You have done what you needed to do in order to feel confident in your task. You know what you have to do in order to turn on a camera, turn on a light, and just talk to a camera if your goal is to be a YouTuber. You know what you have to do. The only thing that you have to do now is just implement and do it. Over researching is not going to help you. Actually implementing what you have learned is definitely going to be key in order for you to complete your goal and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Trusting your gut is also knowing that you don't have to depend on others for validation. Trusting your gut is that you don't have to depend on what people are telling you should do within your business. You know what is best. Yes, having those little side validations are great, but at the same time, don't seek it. Go ahead and just do the things that you need to do and trust that you know what you're doing. That is always going to carry you at the end of the day. The next thing to get unstuck is to release perfection and just put out your work. Now, if you are a creative and you deliver art for people, whether it be photography, videography, you are a calligrapher, you are an artiste, you're a painter, whatever the case may be, you just have to put out your work. Release the perfection from it and get it done and be able to say, I did the best I could in this moment and I love how it looks right now. It will be perfected in the future. That is something that you're just gonna have to do on a consistent basis, because in all honesty, you would never get everything perfect the first go around, right? It's better to be seen trying than not trying at all. It's better to be seen than not being seen at all. So if you're behind the scenes of trying to get things perfect, you are simply wasting time, because by the time you put things out, people have moved on, your audience is distracted, your audience may not have seen your work, and you're just there holding this perfect masterpiece and no one's there to see it. Long as you continue to keep that ball rolling by putting out your work, and you know and learn what to improve on the next time around, you will get better, and before you know it, you won't be seeking perfection as quickly as you are in the beginning. Getting it done and putting it out there allows people to see the nitty-grittiness of your work. It shows that you're learning, you're willing to learn, you're also a student. And I think that's what most people tend to forget. As a creative, you are still a student to your work. You're still learning new innovative ways to make things better, make things faster, make things more efficient. And you're constantly learning. Cameras are constantly coming out. You're learning about that. Things are always vastly improving, and so you are always learning what is new. How can I implement this within my business? And so being a student to your craft would allow you to still keep working and keep trying. But if you're just striving for perfection every time you put out a piece of work, you may be missing out on potential clients that are interested in learning what makes your business special. They want to see your work. They don't want to see you holding your work until it's perfect. Continue to put out your work regardless of how you may perceive it as, because to someone else, it may be perfect the way it is. So continue to put out your work, continue to do the work, and continue to put yourself out there to help you from feeling stuck on a consistent basis. Over time, your work will improve, but don't let perfection hinder you from starting. The next habit to help you from feeling stuck, start with small changes. So this goes back to the very beginning where I said you're over-analyzing, you're over-researching. If you are that type of person, because I am the over-analyzer, over-researcher, one of the things I found that has helped me is just by implementing one thing. Out of the thing that I'm researching, just implement that one thing, see how that works for me and my business, and then keep moving. Because if you are constantly researching, you essentially are creating memory fog for yourself, or brain fog for yourself. You're essentially creating brain fog for yourself. But like, it's just an overload of information that you're just kind of feeling, I don't know what direction to go. I researched that I should do this, but then I also researched that I should do that. And then I heard Sally Joe had this work for her, so maybe I should implement that. Too much information would allow you to feel like you're a middleman with multiple directions that you could go into, but you're stuck. So if you are one that overanalyzes, over researches, just go ahead and implement one thing that you've learned. Try it out. Give yourself a week or two to see how it feels, how it's working out. Extend it to a month to see if you could get more data and more results in order to see if this is truly something that you should continue to do, or if you should just stop. I mean, there's nothing wrong in researching and testing within your business to see what works. So don't let overanalyzing and over-researching consume you. This happens a lot at times, especially in slow season. But if you catch yourself overanalyzing, just start implementing. The next tip to help you get unstuck is to remove distractions. Now, we are going back to the phone issue. Phone is always next to you on a consistent basis. You know, it's just a safety thing for me, especially being a mom. In order to know that you're in working mode, the best thing to do if you're not comfortable taking your phone off is to set it on do not disturb, or keeping it in a drawer as you are working so that you can still hear it, but you can't see it as it may light up or whatever the case may be. Research has also shown that having your phone next to you or on your desk can reduce your cognitive capacity to focus. So it's best to remove the distraction altogether by having it somewhere else. Research has also shown that multitasking and phone addiction can create a dopamine feedback loop that hinders focus and progress. It just feels like you always have to look at your phone. Even if you want to just take a 5-second breather, you always feel like you have to look at your phone. Just remove the distractions altogether and you will see a vast improvement in not only your mental health, but actually getting the job done. And the last thing to help you get unstuck is to also change your routine. If you're a photographer like me, I work from home unless I have a job I need to get to or a studio I need to go to. If you are constantly at home, there is very lack of inspiration where you are, because if you're like me and you're working from home, you see 101 things that you have to do within the house. So in order for me to remove that distraction, I typically tend to change the location of where I work at times so that I can gain inspiration with the environment that I'm in. So if for some reason, one day I may be at home, the next day I might be working at a library as I'm planning out my marketing for the rest of the year, or the next day I might find myself at a coffee shop, or, I just change it up, because if I stay in one place, I tend to feel very stagnant on what I see around me, where it adds to the distraction of doing other things versus what I'm supposed to be focusing on, which if that's the case, then I come back and I'm still at point A and I have not done anything. So, and then of course, and it eventually makes you feel stuck. So in order for me to avoid feeling stuck, I change up my environment so that I could see something different. Something within that new environment could spark a potential idea for a short, a reel, a video for you guys on YouTube. It could spark so much inspiration just by changing the environment. So if you're like me and you're at home all the time and you're working, I highly encourage you to change your environment to see what inspiration you could get from being outside of your home. Changing up your routine can be a small step that sometimes yield big results in the future. So try it out if you have not already. And that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you have enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.